Can I tell you one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life? And a lie I have probably said 1,000 times myself. And I will bet you have said this yourself multiple times. And even though you may say this statement with conviction and think you mean it, you know deep down that this statement is only a way to make you feel better. So what statement am I sure we all say, but it is a lie? It is the statement, I really don't care what you think about me. We usually say this when there is some kind of conflict with someone. And you may feel some words about you are being said that may be kind of hurtful or negative, to say the least. Yeah, Pastor John's legs are so jacked up, man. I mean, I've seen better legs on a piano. Hey, Pastor John, did you hear the one about so-and-so said about your legs? Dude, I really don't care what they say about me. But since I don't care, what did they say? What others think about us matters. No matter how much we tend to say it does not. If we agree, I know my legs are jacked up. After 8 different surgeries between 2 legs, I'm sure there would be some jackness to them. We take the criticism with a grain of salt, but we do take it. If you disagree, we can be hurt or come downright argumentative. Let me tell you, if you had 8 surgeries on your knees, your legs would be jacked up too, Jack. And usually after our retort, we come back with a diss of our own. Oh yeah, my legs may be jacked up, but have you seen your ears? I can't believe you ain't picking up interstellar communication with those satellites on the side of your head. That's good, isn't it? That's good. You can use that sometime. Agree somewhat or disagree on what someone thinks of us is still something you think about, and you do care about what they think, even if you say you don't. So saying that we would prefer to have someone say something positive that we agree with about ourselves is what we want. Do you want to hear something kind of morbid? I'm getting to the age, I wonder what people will say about me when I meet my Maker. When I pass on from this life into the next one. You know, when I die. Like life, I imagine there will be those that will say such kind words about me. But I also think there will be some that may not be as generous about their comments about me. My hope is that the positive will drown out the negative. So as I say that, I see that I even care what others think about me or say about me in the great demise. There is a story in the Bible that deals with this. And when I hear the passage, it gives me pause to think a bit. The passage is in Acts 9, 36 through 43. So grab your Bibles or your phones and we can take a look at it. Acts 9, 36 through 43. In Joppa, there was a disciple named Tabitha. In the Greek, her name is Dorcas. She was always doing good and helping the poor. About the time she became sick and died, and her body was washed and placed in an upstairs room. Lydda was near Joppa. So when the disciples heard that Peter was in Lydda, they sent 2 men to him and urged him, please come at once. Peter went to them, and when he arrived, he was taken upstairs to the room. All the widows stood around him, crying and showing him the robes and other clothing that Dorcas had made while she was still with them. Peter sent them all out of the room. Then he got down on his knees and prayed. Turning toward the dead woman, he said, "Tabitha, get up." She opened her eyes, and seeing Peter, she sat up. He took her by the hand and helped her to her feet. Then he called for the believers, especially the widows, and presented her to them alive. This became known all over Joppa, and many people believed in the Lord. Peter stayed in Joppa for some time with a tanner named Simon. So, I said this passage gives me pause to think about a few things, and I hope it will you too. So many different viewpoints to look at in this short passage, but let's take a look at a few of them. We see a woman named Tabitha. Now, I say that, how many of you hung on more to the Greek version of her name? Dorcas. Can you imagine if this was present-day America? The Greek Tabitha or Dorcas would have to receive for that? I mean, I grew up with the name John, another term for a toilet. And believe me, I heard the jokes. Still do at times. I can't even imagine with a name like Dorcas. But that gives me a thought on a point I would like to make. Why do we feel it's okay to make fun of things others cannot help? Like a name, a disability, a quirk, the things we deem different or odd on someone else. If it is different, we see it as a negative most times. But I believe the things that are different is what makes us great. So instead of finding faults or something we can make fun of, shouldn't we be praising the uniqueness of others? In the passage, the uniqueness was not Tabitha's Greek name. It was the fact that she was not breathing. Tabitha was dead. And we see her lying upon a bed with a room full of mourners, which gives me another thought here. It is okay and good to mourn our losses. And then we hear about their loss in the person that Tabitha was. Tabitha was a servant. She clothed and fed the people who needed it most. And this gives me a thought. How I treat others makes a difference to how others see me. And Tabitha was loved for her giving heart for those who needed it most. So much so that her admirers will do anything for her. The mourners get word that the disciple of Jesus, Peter, is nearby, so they call him in for a visit. And I see a huge point here. Even though we may think someone has it all, they still may need our help too. And even though Tabitha has passed, the people asked for Peter to come by. Now, do you think that the widows thought Peter could bring her back to life? I don't know, but that's what they were hoping for. That's absolutely why they called Peter into the room. Now, the point the widows show us is this, that true faith tells us God can do anything. Peter gets there, sees Tabitha, hears the mourning people's story, sees the things that Tabitha has made for others, and it moves Peter to action. He clears the room, which leads to the next point. No matter the situation, it's always a good time for prayer. And Peter gets at it. He jumps down on his knees. After a while, Peter even goes, "Tabitha, get up." And this goes to our point because prayer can bring on miracles. Peter did not perform this miracle on his own, though. He took his request to God, and God did the rest. But Tabitha coming back to life had an even bigger effect on the Joppa area. The word Tabitha being brought back traveled throughout the area. And that led people in Joppa to begin believing in the power of the gospel, believing in Jesus and in God. God's gospel should be seen in your life. Tabitha lived for God. And even though Peter's miracle of bringing her back from the dead brought people to Christ, the catalyst to get them was Tabitha's life. How you live matters. Of all the points we have made, I do feel that I have missed a big one. And I do believe it goes all the way back to the first thing I talked about. Our I really don't care what you think about me statement. I told you I believe that statement is most generally a lie. That we do care. But I wonder, if people say nothing, is that as bothersome to you? Or maybe even worse. I wonder the people that were surrounding Tabitha, mourning her loss, asking and praying for a miracle, having Peter come by to do that miracle through God's grace. I wonder, did they tell Tabitha what they thought about her? Did they let her know how amazing she was? Did how she served with such gratitude before she died? When she closed her eyes before death, did they say any of these things? Did she know she was loved so passionately by those people that were mourning her in that room? Never hold back telling someone how much they mean to you. When I read this passage, I see the love the widows have for Tabitha. I wonder though, did Tabitha truly know it? Here is something I can bet she did once she came back. The people would not miss another opportunity. Don't miss your opportunity. Tabitha was a true servant, but I think she was so much more. A person who serves is looked very favorably, but it's something that can be done in anonymity. I think Tabitha was a servant who also encouraged others to be better. She saw value in all, helped all, and spoke up for all. I always joke about when my time on earth is over, I want to have a memorable parting party. As a matter of fact, I want to have a Viking funeral. Push me out in a wooden boat, and you guys can all surround shooting flaming arrows. You have my permission. And I would go up in flames. A funeral no one would ever forget. Now, I know when I say that you know I'm joking. There are certain laws in the land. We cannot get away with that. But I don't want that, even though it would be memorable. I don't even want what Tabitha had with people crying, hoping I come back. My love for zombie flicks might scare you all way too much for if I come out of being dead. That would be kind of creepy. No, as cool as all those things are, the coolest thing to me would be for people at my funeral, or not, to think about me positively. To say, I served God mightily. And that those I encountered, they all knew that I loved them. So guys, my biggest piece of advice I can give you, no matter who it is, show them the love of Jesus. Treat them like you would want to be treated. Serve them as best as you can. And most of all, tell them what they mean to you and to God.